Hello and welcome to the only podcast on the internet to actually spend a summer at Camp Crystal Lake and live to tell about it. I am Jimbo from Retro Game Lounge. That Bearded Wonder is Tyler from Metroids Primed. And everyone, welcome the fuck back to the Nerd Bucket. You know it, man. We got your bucket fixed this week, man. We got an extra large, like, KFC size fill-up bucket full of Halloween goodness. So, like, you're going to get, like, a heart attack and, like, diabetes. You're going to get, like, everything all at once, man. We're going to give you your fix all the way around. So, we took a week off. The Bearded Wonder had to go on a little vacay. So, I actually got sick towards the end. So, that's the main reason that you guys missed your fill-up bucket last week. But just had this really weird stomach thing, dude. I was just feeling like ass for 4 days. But anyways, dude, we're back. We're back on the air, giving you some Halloween love, some Halloween goodness, making this the Halloween-oriented bucket. So it's like the orange bucket, I guess. Or it's like the Jacka bucket. the bucket of lantern.
I like it.
Something like that. So we got a few things to discuss today, man. We got a brand new bucket list. Definitely sticking in the realm of Halloween type stuff, but also giving you your little nerdy scratchy itch. We got some video game news that's definitely in the wheelhouse of Halloween stuff, if you ask me. Definitely staying in that same universe, and just just general bucket fuckery. I mean, like we always bring you.
That's why we like to do it, Jimbo.
I mean, dude, you can't have the Retro Game Lounge involved without some kind of fuckery. I mean, our motto is full tilt fuckery. So it can't be full tilt if it's just me, I guess. But with you involved, it can just be like regular sized fuckery. You know, just like instead of like the super sized fuckery, it's like, hi, would you like your serving of fuckery? It's like, so this Nerd Bucket is exactly one serving of fuckery measured. I think we just set the record for the amount of times fuckery was said. And I just added one on a podcast.
I think so. I didn't count them out, but
fuck. There we go. Just warming it up. So, Bearded Wonder, how are you? How was vacation? I see you have an American Pickers t-shirt on, Antique Archaeology.
yeah, I went to the Nashville store. Me and my girlfriend stopped in Nashville for 2 or 3 days, stayed in a bed and breakfast there, and then went up to East Tennessee, up in the mountains for 2 or 3 days, and it was really nice and relaxing.
Awesome.
We did stop in the antique archaeology store in Nashville, and it was really cool. I don't know what I was really expecting going in, but it's not just a place like to buy t-shirts. They actually sell antiques there,
Right.
stuff that they've gotten off the show. I saw one thing that was actually on an episode, and unlike Pawn Stars, it wasn't for sale. So they actually have stuff that they keep from some of the TV shows, picks or whatever. But most of the stuff in the store has tags on it and it's for sale. Of course, you can buy t-shirts and stuff like that. It was really neat, though. I'm not into the antique scene, but I love the show. I think that was a great idea for a show. And, of course, that's kind of where the Game Chasers came from.
Pretty much.
Was, kind of copying what they were doing on American Pickers. So, both of them are really good shows. So it was really neat stopping by there. We did a bunch of museum stuff like that and just relax. Our cabin kind of faced the mountains and had a hot tub.
Nice.
Like right on the balcony, facing the mountains. So that was pretty awesome at night, having that whole backdrop. And it was like, 40 something degrees or 30 something degrees.
I've been there.
And sitting in the hot tub at like 106, just chillaxing, drinking some booze. And
damn right, dude. That's what that's what cabining is all about. I have a funny cabin and slash hot tub story for you. It's very short, but I think it's very funny. I didn't even know something like this could happen until it happened. So
that doesn't involve a time machine, does it?
No, it'd be fucking awesome if it did. But my time machine would have a flux capacitor on it, just to keep it legitimate here. I was at a cabin actually staying with an old girlfriend of mine way back when, and we were out in the hot tub, and this was like the dead of winter. Like, I'm talking like frost on the ground, kind of cold. So needless to say, like, the thing was on stilts, so we had to walk down this like big staircase, and the hot tub was on the ground floor, obviously. And it wasn't the going in there that was bad, it was the getting out. But the one thing I noticed that was funny, obviously we're sunk down in the hot tub and we're staying warm. Okay, well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, this is when I didn't look like this. When I had like, the freaking macho, like, hey, look at me, I'm like the fifth member of 98 Degrees kind of man do spikes kind of thing. I kid you not, dude. My hair froze.
What?
There was ice. Like when I touched my
Wow.
hair, it was like ice. And it was like crinkling when I was doing that. I was like, holy crap. I didn't even know that could happen. But I
It
guess
must have
it's
been freezing outside
I guess
that
it's
day.
just the water on my hair froze. I don't think my actual hair froze, but just the
All right.
moisture on my hair actually froze. But yeah, getting out of the hot tub to run up the steps and go back into the house. I think that the only other time that my dick has been that small was probably when I was born. Like when I came out of mama. That's probably the only other time in my life that my dick was that small. It's like we're talking like hibernation.
Did you pull a George Costanza and yell, "There was shrinkage! There
No,
was shrinkage!"
I was just running back up into the cabin to get in the house, and I jumped in the shower. And dude, I put the shower on like full blast heat. It still didn't feel warm. I was
Wow.
so cold. I was like, oh my God. And it's like, it just felt like lukewarm when I had like nothing but heat on. It just wasn't even making a dent. I was like, holy shit, that's cold.
Well, this was
Oof.
like I guess the perfect temperature, and like the last night, I was like, I'm gonna enjoy this, I'm gonna stay in, and of course they like say don't stay in like longer than like 20 or 30 minutes.
Right.
I was in it for like 2 hours, just relaxing, drinking, and like I swear when I got out, I was like, man, I'm still hot, I guess it like heated up my entire body to whatever that
Uh-huh. It kind of
temperature
works that
was.
way. Yeah.
But it was nice, man. I had fun cooking myself.
That's awesome.
I was sitting there watching YouTube videos on the side of the mountain. So it was nice.
Now that's dedication.
Hey,
Still
I
keeping
mean,
up with the tube.
well, I'd caught up on my other TV shows, and I was kind of, grabbing for straws. I was like, oh, I've missed about a week worth of YouTube shows,
Hmm.
so I popped those in. But it was nice, man. It was good to get away. I was really regretting going back to work today, but unfortunately, we've got to pay the bills.
Yeah, that's the way it works. So, pretty much right before you left, dude, there was a big deal on Kickstarter with that the game that we actually previously talked about on the Nerd Bucket podcast that was formerly known as Summer Camp. Turns out kind of evolved into something much, much bigger and became Friday the 13th, the game,
All right.
and has since exploded on Kickstarter. I think it was $250,000 in the first 24 hours.
Yeah, and I saw as of starting this podcast, it was at
Mm-hmm.
$454,000 right now. So it's looking like it's going to definitely meet its goal. I mean, it's
I think
got
so.
a ways to go.
But they got
Yeah, but I mean, plenty of
25,
time.
25 days. I think that's more than enough. I think they'll hit it.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully it'll pull in over a million because there's some pretty cool stretch goals there.
Yeah, man.
And you want to talk? Do you know about some of the stretch goals? Do you want to talk about them or?
They've talked about, they haven't gone into insane detail yet, but they have mentioned that single player is on the table as a stretch goal. But it's probably going to have to cross the million mark for that to become feasible because that adds, according to them, they're going to need to hire a lot more people because that'd be like an entirely different section of the team working exclusively on single player, which is accurate. That's the way most video game companies work. So personally, I hope it hits a million just because they could add like little miniature story things where maybe you could do co-op or something and Jason's the killer, or maybe the reverse is true where like, you're Jason and your mission is to like whittle down a freaking batch full of camp counselors. Either way, it's freaking win-win.
So did they actually reach out to the people at the on the Friday the 13th trademark and rights and all that, or did the Friday the 13th people reach out to them?
As I understand it, Sean S. Cunningham, who's the guy that owns the rights, he's the original producer of the first movie and still maintains them to this day. He basically heard about summer camp and he was so jazzed about it, he more or less gave them permission
What?
to use the license.
Dude, like, how nice of a gift is that?
He wanted it to succeed. I'm sure he gets a little bit of back end. He probably just didn't choose. He didn't elect to charge him a fee for licensing or something like that. He probably just gets a piece of the profit. But I mean, just the upgrade of the name alone, I think will more than make up for any negligible difference between A and B on that. Because now instead of it just being like a generic horror movie, like now it's an entry into arguably one of the biggest horror franchises in history. You know, one of the most iconic horror movie villains probably ever. You know, up there with Freddy and Dracula and Frankenstein. So, yeah, I mean, it's, dude, I backed this personally, guys. I went with the $99 package because I didn't want to choose between having a hard copy and having all the extra DLC. Like, I mean, just them dangling the carrot of like a specially designed Jason designed by Tom Savini with unique weapon. It's just, fuck you, take my money. I'd like, no, there's no way I'm not getting that. So,
Yeah, the digital package though was very appealing because what I was reading is you get the game and then you get codes to give your friends, don't you? Yeah, so
in one of
and
the
it was like
packages, yeah, you can
it's like
you get extra
$100
codes.
for like one. I guess you get your digital code and then you get
Yeah,
like four codes to give friends. So
yeah.
I mean,
It's
you know,
basically it's
that's really
25
cool
bucks a head.
marketing.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's if you just want the digital copy of the game, them only charging $25, I feel is a more than fair price for something like this. For what is corporate backed, with the Friday the 13th franchise behind it, and all these industry veterans, jumping in to help this with Kane Hodder doing motion capture and his stunt team doing the stunts, and Tom Savini being like the splatter technical consultant, and Henry Manfredini doing the score. I mean, this is like everyone that you would want to be part of this is part of this.
I thought that was very interesting just on the Kickstarter like intro video.
Yeah.
Like him talking about the music and doing like the how like the original, notes were, and then he added like the little part on the end that made it like just even like creepier the music.
Hmm.
So I thought that was really interesting. And then, of course, you have Adam Sessler on board just to introduce the whole thing, and
Sure.
he's has a lot of pull in the video game industry, so that was cool.
Absolutely. I couldn't be more excited about this, guys. I've said, I believe I said this the original time when we talked about summer camp, that this is going to change the way that multiplayer exists. Not in a way that it's going to like replace the tete-a-tete, COD, Battlefield style stuff. I just think that this is going to force multiplayer to diversify. And in my opinion, multiplayer needed a shot in the arm like this because right now there's basically just multiplayer and co-op. There's literally nothing in between. And I mean, to give it credit, Evolve, I guess you could say, kind of started this. They kind of dropped the ball on that as far as the game is concerned, but they kind of got the idea rolling that one person is like the villain and the other people are the good guys. So the Friday the 13th thing, I think, is just taking that same idea and doing it in a little bit cooler of a universe, taking something a little bit closer to home. And this is definitely something that I will play because it's more important than your team winning. Like literally your ass is on the line, or your like bloodthirst, I guess, is on the line if you're playing as Jason. Like your need to like to freaking to cut down little blonde co-eds and shit like that with machetes, and oh god, I can't wait for the kills because they said they're going to be like diversified. He can use his environment, like it's going to be over the top and ridiculous. I cannot wait, dude. I love scaring people. Like I really do. Like scaring people is something I've loved since I was a little kid. Jumping out of the closet, raw, and this is like the digital version of that, just getting to scare the bejesus out of people. So good luck to the guys at Gun Entertainment, and I really hope this succeeds, man. You guys have already got my $100 spoken for, and that's money well spent in my opinion. This is my first backed Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's big for Jimbo because I mean he's never backed anything
Nope.
through Kickstarter, and he's kind of been like on the fence whether to ever back anything. For him to like come out the gates and back something, that's huge.
It's got to be something special to get my attention,
Yeah.
and I would have backed summer camp, if that's what it came to, because I really liked the idea. But I mean, it was like there was no question. I was like, as soon as I heard this, I was on the website in 5 minutes, saying, looking at the packages and scrolling down. I'm like, okay, gotta have physical copy, and I want all the DLC. All right, $99, it's done. So good luck to them. We will definitely keep you guys updated. If you haven't already done so, I will include a link to the Kickstarter in the description of this video on the channel, or you can just Google Friday the 13th Kickstarter. You can find it that way. So please contribute, even if you're only gonna, do like $5, which is the baseline package, just so you can see this thing come to fruition. Or if you don't want the physical copy, dude, throw them $25. You get the game. Xbox One, PS4, PC. Can't beat that.
No, not at all.
It's a good cause.
Well, Jimbo, are you getting in the spirit for Halloween?
I am. I think I'm getting in the spirit of doing a Halloween bucket list too. Now that you asked,
okay.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. We decided to do this bucket list on kind of like Halloween themed games, and actually kind of had a hard time making it a list of Halloween games. So mine's I kind of cheated a little bit, did like scary games that you could play around Halloween that were really spooky. So, and the first one's not really spooky, but it's more fun. So, we kind of broke it down into,
Eras.
Yeah, I didn't go all the way back to 8-bit, but
I did.
But Jimbo did.
Yes,
so,
I did.
Jimbo, if you want to go ahead with
Sure, we can do
with
it
your first one.
chronologically, I guess. I'll start with my oldest one. Okay, so this one I've actually covered on a previous Retro Game Lunch special, since we do a Halloween special and we love doing top fives over on my side of the fence. This was covered on last year's, and I'm suggesting this one actually for two very specific reasons. Number one, it's definitely Halloween themed because it's framed around a horror movie. Which, when I think horror movie, I think Halloween. Those two things are absolutely indispensable. And at the same time, this is an NES game that is 4-player co-op. That is very, very unusual when you go outside of the sports game genre. That's incredibly unusual to find something like that. And that would be Nightmare on Elm Street, the game. Aside from what Mr. James Rolfe might say about this game, I actually didn't find it that bad of a game. Is it a AAA game by any reason? No. But is it fun to play with a buddy or two buddies or three buddies? It absolutely is. It's a very loose interpretation of the the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. But at the same time, excuse me, it's really fun. It really is, just because you're stuck, going in between the real world and the dream world. You have to fight Freddy in several incarnations where he's just like a hand, then the next one it's like a tongue, then it's like a head, then eventually you go all the way up to Freddy. And he can pop up anytime he wants, where it'll be like, Freddy's coming, dun, 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 dun. So these little kind of semi-quick time events. And it's fun, dude. It's a bit of an oddity in the realm of NES, given that, like I said, you break out the Satellite or the Fourscore, and you can rock 4-player co-op, not in a competitive way, but in actually, working as a team. On a platformer, no less, man. That's absolutely bizarre that something like that exists. I had no idea that game had that option until the past couple of years. I of course heard of the game as a kid, but I was like, yeah, it's probably gonna suck. But learned about the co-op option, I was like, dude, I'm in. Like, this is one I've got to get just because it's an oddity. So, Nightmare on Elm Street, solid entry in the 8-bit era games to play on Halloween, in my opinion. Turning it over to you, Bearded Wonder.
All right, my game is kind of an oddity for the Sega Genesis, and it is a game called The Haunting. Have you ever heard of it before?
No.
It's kind of an uncommon game, and the full title is The Haunting, starring Poltergeist. And basically, in this game, you play a ghost.
Okay.
And you are in a house, and you're trying to scare the residents of the house, out of the house to leave it.
Okay.
And as the game goes on, you can animate certain things and freak them out or whatever, but it uses your I want to say like slime or whatever that your power is. It uses it up, and as you use it up, when you use up all the way, you have to go to like this other dimension and gather more up, and then it allows you to go back to the normal world or whatever. But it's a fun game. It, like I said, it's pretty uncommon for the Sega Genesis, but definitely when I think of like a Halloween themed game, I think that would be a good one to play. Just something that's kind of quirky and lighthearted, especially before you start playing, some of the scarier games during the Halloween season. So that's kind of a good hors d'oeuvre, as you would say, before you move up to the
A
the
palate
main course. That's
palate
right.
cleanser. Okay, I got
Right.
you. That's cool. I'm not familiar with that game, so I'll have to give that one a look.
Yeah, I think you can pick one up on eBay for maybe around $40 complete, $50. I mean, it's not
Wow.
completely out of the price range, but it's uncommon. I've never seen it in the wild.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
Okay. Well, thank you for the tip.
hmm
Okay. So my next one, we're gonna jump ahead quite a few generations. I've probably talked this one to death on this podcast, so I'm only gonna talk about it a little. But that would be that little gem from our friends at Rare called Grab by the Ghoulies. I honestly cannot think of a more Halloween-centric game than this. It's basically like playing a Scooby-Doo mystery, with a little bit more action, a little bit of almost like Pixar and Disney thrown in there with a little zany type of fun, but Frankenstein monsters, zombies, vampires, everything that you would want, all the typical Halloween tropes with a great score, great gameplay, and it looks absolutely fantastic on the Rare Replay if you have an Xbox One. It looks like $1 million in 1080p and 60 frames. So if you have those, or if you just have a regular Xbox, pick it up for that. Still a fun game. If you got the Xbone, get the Rare Replay. You will not regret it.
All right, my next one on the list is a GameCube game, and it's a game that just really freaked me out and scared me when I was playing it back in the day.
Okay.
And it's started to become a pretty uncommon game for the GameCube, and that's Eternal Darkness. Have you ever played that before?
Nope.
All right, basically, you're playing this game, and as the game goes on, you start to like lose your mind,
Okay.
and the world starts like to morph. You start hearing things in the game, and it's just a really creepy game. Like, uh, it's a game that I've actually never beaten before, just because I remember back then when I played it, it just freaked me the hell out.
Hmm.
But definitely a game that will scare you during the Halloween season, and was really unique because most GameCube games were just like really family friendly, and this was just kind of an oddity because other than the Resident Evil games, I mean, there just weren't a ton of really scary games for the GameCube. So
I agree with that.
that is my second pick is
Awesome.
Eternal Darkness.
Okay, so my third and final pick, I'm going to give you two for the price of one because it's the original game and its sequel, simply because I could not pick between them because I like them both for very different reasons, and they're both definitely in the wheelhouse that we're dealing with here. That would be Condemned Criminal Origins and its sequel, Condemned Bloodshot. Um, the first one was actually the first game that I got with my Xbox 360. It was a launch title. Is it graphically impressive by today's standards? No. I mean, people were still learning to program for the Xbox 360 back then. But does that stop it from being a fantastic game? No, absolutely not. It's very creepy. It's a first person. I'm not going to call it a shooter because you don't really shoot very much, but um, almost like a cross between like a little bit of FPS, but at the same time, like an investigative game, you have to use crime scene tools like CSI type stuff to solve clues, find footprints with a black light and stuff like that, looking for blood splatter, almost like kind of Batman type of shit. And it's really cool how involved it gets, in the crime scene stuff. Like it's not something that's just thrown out as a side note. It's an integral part of the game that leads you forward through the game's storyline. And at the same time, you're going to like the worst places in this city. It's almost like if the buildings in the Saw franchise were like an actual city, that's where you would be in this game, where you're just going to these condemned, hence the title, rundown places with all these, psychotic, crackheads that are all coming to basically kill you, beat you to death with things. And the majority of it is actually melee combat. You kind of use things that you pick up along the way, like a lead pipe or like a mannequin arm. That's always a good one. Just random things like that to fight off your attackers. And these people are nuts. The people coming after you, they're crazed. Two main reasons that I bring up this franchise, because of two specific memories that I have with each game. So when I'm playing the first game, when I got my 360, I was living with a roommate still. And I'm in the living room playing the game, and he's like sitting on the other couch, just like drinking a beer and like kind of casually watching me do it. And I remember I was going up the stairway of this one building, or very early on in the game, and it had like this little balcony where you could look over to the stairwell where you just came from. So I look over the balcony, and I kid you not, this was not a QuickTime moment. There was a villain, on the ground who jumped off the ground at me. Like, didn't get a hold of me or anything, like just like raw, like that. My roommate, who was borderline unshakable, almost fell off the couch. It scared him so bad. Like, this dude never jumped at anything. Anytime we watched a horror movie, he was like, "Oh shit!" Like, I was like, "You okay there, buddy?" He was like, "Dude, that actually scared me." It was really, really well done. And at the same time, in the sequel, which for the record is very different from the first game, and I mean that in a good way. It still has all the hallmarks of the first game, but instead of just using like items to beat people up, like the dude can actually use his fists and stuff. It kind of expands the combat a little bit. The storyline goes a little bit further, and you're chasing a serial killer just like you are in the first one. So it's kind of got that Seven vibe to it. And the memory that sticks out from the sequel is, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there's a particular level where you're out in a cabin in winter in the middle of nowhere. And there's nobody out there, like you're not facing villains or anything like that, but dude, there's this fucking bear, this gigantic, crazed grizzly bear that basically starts to chase you through this through this cabin rather. And this cabin is like the cabin from Evil Dead 2. It's like the cabin that just goes on forever. Like there's like 8 million corridors when you're going around it. And this bear is like coming through doors, coming through walls. Like it's fucking relentlessly on your heels. That is probably the most tense experience I have ever had in a video game. Like, you want to talk about like maximum asshole pucker. I was like just about to lose my mind. It was so intense because the way like the music, you turn around and you see this thing fucking right behind you. I mean, you're genuinely afraid of this damn thing, and you're just trying to get away from it. You can't fight it or anything like that. You just got to be somewhere else. I want to go back and play it, honestly, just talking about it, just because that experience was just fucking incredible. I mean, I've never seen or heard of anything like that in any video game before or since. So guys, Condemned, The Criminal Origins, and Bloodshot, you can get them for really cheap on the Xbox 360. Guys, seriously, if you like dark-ass games with some sinister shit going on, you got to pick these up, man. These games are awesome.
That's a game series that I've always wanted to play, but I never got around to it.
Definitely play them in order.
Okay.
Like number 2, I mean, you could play them standalone, I would think, but number 2 I think will make a lot more sense if you play number 1 first.
Yeah, and you probably could pick those up for like $5 each.
Probably, yeah. They're not that much money, but dude, when I get around to doing an Xbox 360 hidden gems list, both of these games will be on the list. I can guarantee you that, and for a launch title, no less.
Yeah, that's why I love like picking up 360 games now, because you can do it so cheap.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I feel you on that. Like the stuff chasing you in games, I hate that.
This is gonna scare the shit out of you, dude. Seriously.
I have one game that really is cemented in my memory for doing that, and that of course is Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, I remember.
And do you, in all the other Resident Evil games, you could just run through the door and kind of collect yourself, and
not anymore.
Like, all right,
stores.
Yeah, that you hear that door open, you're like, what the hell? And he's
Yeah.
coming after you, and I'm like, shit. But yeah, that game freaked me the hell out. All right, the last game on my bucket list is a game that came out for the Xbox 360, and it's a game that really, is not appreciated. I would almost consider it a hidden gem, and that is Alan Wake. Did you ever play that?
Yes.
Okay.
Not for very long though.
You didn't like it? Oh, Jimbo.
Sorry to steal you. And dude, I wanted to like it because that
Oh
kind of
man, I
shit
love
is
that
awesome.
game.
I love stuff like that.
Well, um, for those of you who have not played it, Alan Wake is basically about this author that goes away with his wife on vacation for a weekend, and I think if my memory serves me correctly, it's to go away to write a book.
Hmm.
And when they go to this cabin out on a private island, and his wife disappears,
Hmm.
and he basically is trying to find her, but the world is kind of changed, and it becomes almost like a bad dream. Like these um, people come from the darkness, and they're kind of like made of darkness, and the only thing you can use to combat them is like light. So you have to like use your flashlight to shine it on them, and then shoot them with a gun.
Hmm.
You can use like flare guns and stuff like that. But I remember that game and a lot of it is like people chasing you and stuff, like through dark woods or whatever, and it just freaked me the hell out. Like that is to me one of the scariest games I've played in a long time. But I loved it, and one of the reasons that I think it was so overshadowed is because it came. A lot of people probably don't remember this, but it came out on the exact same day that Red Dead Redemption came out, and
Oh
it just kind
buddy.
of completely got overshadowed by Red Dead Redemption. Now, I think it still sold over 1 million copies, but they never made a sequel to it, and it's a shame because it was a really good game. Now, they did release some digital content for the game, but I think it was just more like a extra maybe chapter or two. But definitely, I'll put that on my list of creepy games to play during the Halloween season. So I kind of changed it around a little bit. It's not really Halloween per se games, but freaky games that you can play during Halloween.
That's
So
acceptable.
good bucket list. Good bucket list.
I think so. Maybe I'll give Alan Wake another shot someday.
Man, you need to because I love that game.
I didn't like quit after 20 minutes. I spent at least a few hours on it, and it was just, I just got bored, dude. Like, I just felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again. I'm like, I just, I don't know. It had
Yeah, I don't
promise, dude.
know.
When I heard about the premise, I was like, this is the kind of game I want to play. I really wanted to like it. Really
I don't
badly.
know, man, because everybody that I've talked to that's played it, they really dug it. So I would just give it a try again and see if it rubs you a different way this
It
time.
might. It might. We shall see.
All right. Did you by any chance watch The Walking Dead
I am
last?
100% caught up, dude.
Okay. Well, this is spoiler alert for anybody that has not watched it. By the time this comes out, you will have had 3 days to watch it.
All right,
So
let's give him a
if you don't,
countdown. After
all
after
right.
you after you hear me count down from five, you've been fucking warned. After this is coming the spoilers. So if you're listening to this now, you've got 5 seconds to fast forward or turn this off or pause it and listen to it later. Five, four, three, two, one. Make with the spoilers.
Dude, how badass was last night's episode?
Dude, both those episodes, like
Ugh,
the season opener, like the biggest zombie horde they've ever shown. I can't even imagine how many extras that was. A couple of hundred at least.
right.
Obviously they CG'd in a little bit of it, but I mean that was a ton of shit. And the whole thing with the horn and stuff going off, like I figured that was something totally different than what it was. I was like, oh
Yeah.
god, we're gonna find out something else. But like the second episode is like running parallel with the first episode. I
And
was
I
like,
had
holy
no
shit.
idea what. And Carol is sitting there, looking out the back window,
And then
watching the lady smoke the cigarette. The guy comes up with a machete.
I was like,
Whoa! I was
what
like,
the
oh my.
fuck?
I was like, is she imagining that? But no, it really happened.
I thought she was imagining it too. I was like, she really hates that bitch. Like she's imagining her dying, you
Oh
know?
wow.
That was absolutely insane. That really
Yeah.
was.
You know, every season I'm like, how can they top, the season before it? And they
It
just keep finding ways to do it.
it's because they keep changing it. Like that's the producers themselves have said that that's how they think the show could go on almost forever is because they never repeat themselves. They are literally changing the series every season. And some people say like it gets repetitive like, oh, there's an objective and the zombies are over there and we have to go through the zombies. Okay, guys, they don't do that. That's if anyone says that, they have never watched past episode 3. That's never been the premise of the show. It is always radically changed. It's never the zombies are the problem, or it's never just the people the problem. It's always one or the other, or both, or infighting, or just battling amongst themselves, or just like any fucking number of things. Like the crap that these people come up with, the problems that these people have to tackle, are just insane. This latest group of marauders, they call themselves the Wolves, who really don't seem to have an objective other than like chaos.
Yeah, they just lost their damn mind.
Like
Because
they're not
last
robbing
night,
him or anything. It's weird.
me and my girlfriend are watching, and there's no objective other than like killing people. I mean, they weren't really stealing hardly anything. I
No,
mean, they
other
and
than
they
to
were
survive, it would seem.
yeah,
It's just
and
like they want chaos.
yeah, which is kind of hard to defend when
It's scary.
somebody just wants to destroy something. They don't have an objective. How do you plan against something like that? Like the governor, wanted the prison.
Hmm.
He didn't want to, blow it all up.
No,
To,
you want to
just
take it
to
over.
destroy it. He wanted to take it over. So you have to, do that with some sort of precision and skill where you do not destroy the entire prison. But when you've got just, people throwing Molotov cocktails in and, ramming the gate with a truck and,
Hmm.
just crazy shit.
It almost seemed like the wolves are like maybe I'm reading too much into it. Almost like maybe a metaphor for domestic terrorism. Like all they
Yeah.
want is to destroy. They don't care about anything else. They're not here to really rob you. They're not here to take over really. They're just simply here to cause chaos. Just plain and simple. And this was some pretty freaking brutal shit, man. I mean, these people weren't just killing people. They were killing them bloody. Like
Yeah.
hacking them apart kind of shit.
And it wasn't just like, I just chopped your head off. It's like, let me just keep
Yeah.
hacking.
Keep hacking
Keep
at the
beating.
arm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep hacking you into a bloody pulp, I mean, it just
Absolutely.
was way over the top, but it's so good. Like
It was.
I
And
was
what
I was definitely left like wanting more, like, oh shit, I've got to wait till next
I
week. I mean,
know.
it had that. I mean, that's how you know you're watching good TV when you're like, oh, I can't wait till next week to
Yeah.
find out what happens.
When it's fucking
You know,
when it's painful to wait 7 days.
I can't wait for Rick to get back here and just lose his shit,
I know.
just go after these people. What the fuck was Morgan thinking?
What all right, what I will on the same token, Morgan obviously has a connection with these people because that one guy looked like he recognized him.
Well, he did. If you remember that one episode when Morgan coming in, remember he knocked out two of
Was
them and left them in the car.
that was the same guy?
I think so because both of those had the W's that they were both Wolf
You know what? I
guys.
didn't even think of that. Like I totally forgot about that scene. You may be right. Okay, now it
So
makes
he's like
sense.
he's let them go once,
And look what happened.
and look what happened. And now he had an opportunity to end it, and now they know that they've got guns. I mean, and the guy that I forget who shot the one guy, if it was Carol or if it was Carl, but
The one guy
no,
was
maybe it
begging for
was
his life.
no. There was one guy, maybe Carol shot as he was leaving, and it showed like just his blood there. So I think he saw their arsenal of
Oh
weapons.
yeah.
So I mean, who knows how many more of these people there are, but at least 4 or 5 escaped. That know what's going on, know they have guns, and of course, he told the guys, my people have guns,
Yeah.
your people don't. You need to leave, or they will
Morgan
kill you.
he needs to wake up, dude. Like this, we're talking about the fucking apocalypse here, man. This whole idea of showing mercy towards people that are willing to butcher you should have been abandoned after his wife died. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that should have been the death of any type of rational sentiment when it comes to sparing the life of someone who would kill you without batting an eyelash.
Well, did you hear that throwback to the first episode or two where um, they grabbed the gun and he was like, I'm not good with guns. I think it was kind of a throwback to, he couldn't kill his wife,
Yeah,
he couldn't shoot her or whatever. So,
he couldn't do it.
yeah, so I think that's kind of a throwback to that. And, I had a feeling that the entire episode was just kind of like going to be him working through that, not being able to kill people.
Hmm.
And, I was like, all right, when it's 1 on 5, he's going to have to kill him. He ends up getting out of that. And then he goes in the house. I'm like, all right, here it is. Here's the big, part where he's, going to kill the guy.
Hmm.
And he ends up not doing it. So I was like, well, there goes that theory out the window because he's, still not killing people. But, like, at the end of the episode, is it him leaving the entire village? Or is
I'm not sure. Like the guy that he fights in the house, the guy that actually almost kills him, I'm not sure if he left that guy alive. I think they're leaving that open to interpretation because when he hits him, it's like fade to black and he says, "I'm sorry." Almost
Yeah.
like he's apologizing for delivering the killing blow. That's the way it read to me. Like I may be wrong. Like he may have just knocked the dude out and they're going to pump the guy for information or something. But it came across to me as like that was it. And he's like, he kind of had that awakening moment where it's like, he let this guy go. They recognize each other. He's like, God, it's like you're forcing my hand on this. Like this is what I have to do because this guy isn't going to stop. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's the case, and Morgan actually wakes up and realizes like this is the world you live in now, and just dude, follow Rick's lead. He he takes baths in that kind of rationalism, that kind of grounded practicality, where it's the world you live. I don't take chances anymore. It's like just get behind Rick, dude. He doesn't give a fuck. Like he
Right.
understands and accepts that this is the world that people live in now. This is the only way that this is going to happen. So, it's bravo for. All right, this is a question I wanted to ask you. Since I see Funny or Die kind of started this as like a joke, and I see people getting behind this. Why do people want Carl to die? I don't
I
get
haven't
that.
seen that or not. Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's time for Carl to die. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure that Carl is one of 3 people that are going to
That's
make it to the end.
Yeah.
It'll
yeah.
be him, Rick, and Daryl will be the last 3 people standing, I think. Because
I could see him killing off Rick.
if they did, I
any
think it'd be at the
season.
end. Because I mean, the show would kind of lose its way if you took Rick out of the equation.
He really holds the group together. I think people are so attached to Rick now that it'd almost be impossible
Yeah. Not
for
to
him to be
mention
taken out.
Daryl, no, he's too popular. Like he's the
Yeah.
fan favorite, and they know that they would lose a lot of the girl demographic, since he's like the sexy bad boy kind of thing. So I don't see that happening, dude. I think that like if Rick dies, it'll be in the last episode.
They've
That I
gotten
can believe.
they've gotten too far away from Daryl. I think here lately. Have you noticed like
A little bit.
they don't really do much Daryl
Well, we
centric
are only 2
episodes.
episodes in.
Did we get a lot last season? I remember
Oh.
maybe towards the beginning we got a few,
Yeah.
with him with his talking to the guys, like fixing up his bike and all that. But I need to go back and watch
I
last
think we got
season.
enough.
Yeah, but
I
this
think we got
season
enough
we
Daryl.
haven't. He hadn't been centered very much in either episode. So
Well, I mean, at the same token, dude, Carl isn't in the first episode at all.
and Rick wasn't in this episode at all.
Exactly. So it's like, it makes sense that we only saw a little bit of Daryl because for the entire episode, he's riding a motorcycle slowly, guiding a zombie horde. That doesn't exactly give time for dialogue unless we're going to do a flashback or something. So I think once we get past that whole thing, whichever way that goes, whether the the corralling / herding thing actually pans out or whether it doesn't. I think once we get past that, I think he and Rick, not necessarily going to butt heads. I think they're past that. That's too contrived. But I think they're definitely going to have like a meeting of the minds because they don't seem to see eye to eye on everything. So I think this season's going to be it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes this season because I'm really interested in finding out more about the Wolves and find out like what they're all about other than just chaos, like why they started doing what they're doing,
Yeah. Like, do they actually
and how they were able to like pull in followers, to do exactly what they're doing.
This season is very Mad Max.
Yeah,
In case you haven't, like the beginning with the fucking quarry and shit, and now with like these like reckless marauders and crap. I'm like, this is really starting to get very George Miller, like in a very big hurry, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, unless it's Fury Road. But
hey, you're in the minority on that one.
I
just watched that again the other day, and I loved it.
That I'm the president of that fucking minority, and I wear that as a badge of honor.
Nah.
Road warrior for life.
You wear your hipster badge with honor?
No, fuck hipsters. No.
I don't want to be normal. I don't want to like masses like.
Yeah, because anyone who watches my channel knows I give a fuck what people think. So yeah, right. So I have a question for you, Tyler.
All right.
Sticking in this whole zone that we're in for Halloween with the orange bucket here. What movie do you remember, like the earliest, really scared you when you were a kid? Like, what's your first memory of really being scared of a movie?
Well, I'll tell you the movie, but I remember 2 series really scared the hell out of me back in the day. And that was Friday the 13th, the series.
Which had
do you remember
nothing
that?
to do with Jason.
Yeah, had nothing to do, but it was spooky as hell.
It was a little spooky, yeah.
And Nightmare on Elm Street.
How the fuck did I know you were going to say that? Holy shit.
I used to have dreams about Freddy, like coming up out of the floor and just, I mean, very, very surreal dreams, I mean, it was almost like the movies because, I mean, how he does just like random shit like that, just like coming out the wall, coming out of the floor. I had memories of that from my childhood and have just bad dreams. The very first like really, really scary movie that really freaked me out was the made-for-TV It movie.
Oh, really? That's what did it for you?
Yeah. And Pennywise the Clown. I know I talked about it during our... I think we did a... Did we do a bucket list on scary movies, maybe? Or
Not yet.
Okay, but we talked about... Or maybe it was a listener question.
Okay.
On scary movies, but I know I'd said it before, but that has forever made me hate clowns and just, going from loving clowns because you remember what was the Bozo show that used to come on?
Yes, that would be Bozo.
Yeah, and we love that clown, but then as soon as you watch it, you're like, hell no, I don't want to see a clown anymore. But yeah, the It, which was the great Stephen King novel.
Yep.
Definitely freaked me the hell out. Still creeps me out to this day.
So you are cool. I think I'm pronouncing this correctly. At least I'll try. Coulrophobic. Coulro phobic.
Fear of clowns.
Fear of clowns. It actually has a name.
I mean, don't like runaway screaming, but they creep me out now.
Never. I guess.
I mean, I could walk up and like talk to one, not have a problem, but just in general, like, you have girls that like collect certain things, like what? Yeah, I know some people collect clowns, and that would just freak the hell out of me if I walked into like an entire room of just like clown shit. Like, nope, this is this ain't gonna work out. Sorry.
I guess it never did anything for me because I didn't see it until I was an adult. I never saw it as a kid.
What about you?
What scared me as a kid? Well, I'm gonna have to throw out two because I honestly don't remember which one was first. I think they were right about the same time, and I was really young. Um, I can tell you the first, we'll call it straight up horror movie. That really scared me, like something that, like to the point where I was like afraid to go to sleep, kind of shit. The first Friday the 13th. And I didn't even see the theatrical version. This was like the fucking chopped down version that they put on Fox
On
5.
Fox in the afternoons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I just saw it one night and they cut out all the good stuff, of course, but I mean, the scares were all there and everything, and Jason wasn't even in this one, until the very end when he's like the killer mutant kid that comes out of the freaking lake. But um no, I mean, it just, oh, dude, that movie scared me so bad. Like, I had to go and sleep on the floor of my parents' room that night. I was so fucking terrified. I mean, it really scared me, dude. Like, I tried to
Wow.
stay in my bed, but I just couldn't do it, dude. I was scared. I can't remember how old I was, but not very old, maybe 6 or 7, when I got around to it. So as far as like straight horror movies, man, that one was cemented in my head. Like every time I'd be flipping through HBO or Cinemax and I'd just get like an image of Jason, I'd like immediately change the fucking channel. I was terrified of it.
Yeah.
But as far as like something that like actually scared me to my core and still scares me to this day, like this, we're talking like psychological damage. Jaws is the reason I don't go in the ocean. I'm dead serious. I do not go in the ocean, period. I did
Hey,
when I was
too.
a small kid, but that movie pretty much sealed the deal where I was like, fuck the ocean. Like, I'm not going in there. And Kevin Smith, for example, cites the exact same reason as me. He does not go in the ocean for that reason. Jaws is the only reason.
Two shark attacks in Hawaii in the past week or two. So
Aloha. Yeah, I happen to know someone in Hawaii, and yeah, that's just like, and I'm the asshole for not going in the ocean. Really, I'm staying alive because of it. So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I understand there's plenty of things that can kill you on the land, but well, here's the difference, people. Man is a land-based animal. That's where we have dominion. If we were supposed to be badass in the ocean, we wouldn't be the slowest damn thing in the ocean. Fucking turtles can outrun us, dude. I mean, come on. No. Fuck the ocean. Not going in it unless I'm Aquaman. That's the only way.
All right, I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in this.
All right.
Most ridiculous horror movie you've ever seen.
Dude, I'm the host of Dirt Flicks. Where do I start? I mean,
Just give me your number
really?
one most ridiculous, and I've got a suggestion for
Oh
Blood
my
Feast.
god, dude. This is like asking me to pick like imagine a shelf full of different like
Garbage movies.
solidified pieces of shit. And I'm not talking about like metaphorical pieces of shit. I'm talking about like fossilized turds. Like you've got like a
Wow.
dog turd, a bird turd, a cow turd, a bear turd. It's all shit, at the end of the day. And you're basically asking me to pick which one's shittier. That's a hard decision, dude, because they're all shit. Um,
I've got a good suggestion for your Dirt Flicks audience and you to watch one night if you haven't already watched this one.
now you're really making me think here, dude.
While you're thinking, I'll tell you mine.
All right.
And this is my buddy Kevin. Apparently watched this somewhere, and it was so ridiculous. Like he went out and bought it. But I believe the name of it is Blood Feast, like Part Three, and it's just one of those gory horror flicks. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like a horrible, budget. They couldn't even film at night. Like they've got like blue cellophane across the lens of the camera to make the night shots look like.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's horrible, but it's so bad it's funny, which is like the complete premise of Dirt Flicks is like making fun of what's going
Of
on.
course,
So
of course.
it's right in your wheelhouse, but it's a horror flick, and in these Blood Feast movies, like there's like a possessed like Egyptian idol,
Mm-hmm.
and it possesses the heirs of Ramses to like kill people around them. And this show movie, the guy owns a bakery, and he's like killing people, and he bakes it into the
Oh my God.
food and stuff. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like he makes lady fingers, and they actually have like people's fingers coming out of it, and people are like eating it, like, oh, this is good. Like, yeah, you don't see his finger coming out of the thing you're eating, but I mean, it's completely ridiculous, but
That's
it's
bad.
hilarious.
All
Yeah.
right. I don't know why I didn't think of this, but I think I've got my pick. Because
All right.
I mean, this, it's almost like the elephant in the room. People are going to think I'm cheating because this is too easy of a target. This is widely regarded as to be one of the worst movies ever made, like in
All right.
general. Troll 2.
Troll 2. Okay. Not Killer Clowns from Outer
Dude, that's a
Space.
fucking awesome movie. No,
That
dude.
I think that's another like one in the
Dude,
whole worst movie
if it
of all
was on
time.
Netflix, we'd be watching that one because I fucking love that movie. No, Troll 2 is one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh
It is
wow.
so stupid. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's like somebody wrote the script 5 minutes before they shot each scene in fucking crayon. I mean, it's so like ham-fistedly stupid that like it's I mean, yeah, is like a lot of it funny? You know, the oh my god, you know, like the eternal meme. Like, is that fucking retarded? Oh god, yes, it is. But oh, dude, I watched that actually with D and Dave, from YouTube pseudo fame. Those fucking crazy assholes always ending up in dumpsters. Join me for that episode of Dirt Flicks. And man, that was like, I think even they were amazed. I think Dave had seen it before, and D was like, "Why are we watching this piece of shit?" Like he was more pissed off than he normally was. I mean, this was a fucking horrible movie. I think that's maybe the second time I've ever seen it. I don't ever want to watch it again.
Oh
Like
wow.
seriously, that was. And this, guys, this is the host of Dirt Flick speaking. Like I'm literally the ambassador
It's so
to
bad that he couldn't even
that. Even
watch
I'm
it.
like, this is a piece of crap. Like this is absolute
Damn.
garbage. The documentary about that called "The Worst Movie Ever Made," where they follow around the guy who's in the movie and stuff, and he's going to different conventions and everything like that. That is more interesting than the actual movie. That is far more entertaining, and it's not even a good
Mm.
documentary.
All
Fucking
right,
hilarious.
I'm gonna throw another monkey wrench at you,
All right,
and most sadistic or just freakiest concept for a horror movie. Like what
like is something like made my kind of skin crawl kind of thing.
yeah, or just the movie itself, not something that happened in the movie.
Audition.
What in that freaked you out?
It's everything. I mean, like it's such a. Have you seen it?
Uh
It's it's
maybe
a it's a.
does,
I think it's
do I need
Japanese.
to do I need to just save it and
It's gonna
I
fuck your shit up, dude.
okay, all
I mean,
right,
it's
well this
we're not talking about like psych damage or anything, but it starts off as one movie and then it becomes a completely different movie. Like about halfway through it, this motherfucker does a 180, and you're
okay.
like, "What the fuck is going
That's all
on?"
subtitles or is it dubbed?
I think it's subtitles. I wouldn't want this dubbed.
Okay.
Um, it's it's just about a guy who's like, I don't know if he's a film director or something like that. It's something weird. Like, and he and his friend basically set up this thing to have girls audition for what they think is going to be. I think it's to be in a movie, but what he's actually
Hmm.
doing is he's trying to find girls to date, and he doesn't
Okay.
tell them that. Like, he's not being like weird or creepy about it. He's just like not giving them the truth. And one of the girls, basically, like one of the ones that kind of makes the cut, so to speak, has some fucking shit going on. And I don't want to say too much because I'm going to remove it from the shock value, but I will say that when you find out what's going on, you're going to let out a really audible, what the serious fuck. Like, you're just going to be completely dumbstruck by just this complete 180 that this film does, where it completely changes direction and you're like struggling to catch up and figure, like, what the fuck is going on? And there's a scene towards the end that's, oh dude, it's fucking painful to watch, man. You're just like, oh, like one of those where you're like, I'm seriously uncomfortable right now. You know, just one of those where it just it fucks with you, dude. Like the
Oh
Japanese
wow.
are fucking dark, twisted
Demented
people,
people.
dude. I mean, I'm not saying that to be like racially slanderous here. I'm like, their horror is fucked up. Like
Yeah.
we think that our horror is like psychological. No, like Europe and Asia, 20 times as fucked as America.
Well, in like the early 2000, that was we were borrowing a lot of
Oh
stuff
yeah,
that
all
from their
J-horror.
horror movies. Yeah.
They
The Ring was
yeah,
a direct, rip off from them.
of course.
The
And
Ringu or whatever it was.
yeah, Ring U was the original one, and then there's most people don't know this. There's actually a second Ring movie that's Korean.
Oh wow, okay.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's almost like I think it's a remake, like kind of a remake, kind of a sequel, and then came the American one. Between that and The Grudge, and stuff like that, and yeah, I mean this isn't those are Japanese ghost stories. Audition, there's nothing supernatural about it. This
Okay.
is like
It's just fucked up.
straight fucked up horror.
Well, see, my first one is nothing supernatural,
Okay.
and that's the Human Centipede.
Oh, that goes without saying.
I mean, the problem with
That would
that
be
is
my
it's like you could
number two.
actually, yeah, I mean, you could actually think of like somebody being that crazy to do some shit like that.
Hmm.
Like drug somebody, do that, and just, I mean, that that just made me really uncomfortable after watching that movie, and I was just,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to feel that after watching a movie. Like,
Nope.
I just feel bad,
I feel
that.
dirty.
I feel dirty. I even watched this movie, and I really felt like that after watching The Human Centipede. But
Have you seen the sequel?
no, but I heard it's
Me either. I heard it's way worse.
they go way over the top of that. I think the first one, just kind of, if they'd have left it like that,
Yeah.
that would have been a proper. Isn't there three now? Maybe.
I think
Are
the
they like?
third one is in the works. I don't know if it's actually been made.
I think the second one was like all in black and white or something.
Part of it was, I think.
Yeah.
But
So
the fucked up thing about the second one was since they couldn't really show a trailer for it because like so much of it was like so ridiculously gory, they showed people, they pulled people into like a van, and they sat them in a chair, and they basically had them watch clips from the film, and like half of the people threw up,
oh wow.
and that was basically the trailer. Just be like that. I was like, holy crap. I I was like
That's awesome.
speechless. Like if this is legitimate, I mean maybe they just pick people with weak stomachs, but I was like, dude, this guy just doesn't give a fuck. This Australian guy, Paul Fix or whatever his name is, Tom Fix, Tom Nix, whatever his name is. He's just fucking. I think he's actually a serial killer. He would have to be to
To have
actually
that
enjoy this
definitive
shit.
mind.
There's no way he couldn't.
I worry about the people who think that shit up. I'm just,
No,
but
understandable.
all right, we'll stay on the Halloween theme. Do you have a funny Halloween story, maybe from childhood, or funny like costume or something like that from back in the day?
Let me think.
Or what was your favorite costume that you got to wear during
Well,
Halloween?
I don't know if I'd call it my favorite, but I can tell you what I felt was my most inventive. I mean, this will tell you like how active the imagination of Jimbo was when he was little Jimbo. And I came up with this all on my own. I went as a serial killer from the future.
What?
That was actually what I came
What'd you
up with.
wear?
Dude, I look like if like Back to the Future 2 was a horror film, that's basically what I look like. Like if Griff was like a murderer, with like the stupid 80s version of the future, with like blood all over my shit and stuff like that, and like a knife. Yeah, that's basically what I went as. It was completely absurd.
Wow.
But I get points for creativity, I think. But my favorite costume, as far as like the one that I'm most proud of, and I think I have a picture of this somewhere, but this is when I was an adult. We were doing, the dress up for Halloween at work type of thing, and I was honestly really pissed off that I didn't win this. Not in a really spiteful kind of way, but the guy who won it, he didn't really do anything other than wear a mask and gloves. I'm like, that's not creative. He went to the fucking store and bought that. He didn't build his own costume. Like, dude, give me $30. I can go do the same thing. No, dude, I went as a Dawn of the Dead Romero zombie. I'm talking with makeup. I had a suit that I like screwed up and covered with dirt and like frayed it up with a freaking knife so it looked like I just crawled out of the ground. I had a green face and everything, just like the Dawn of the Dead zombies. You know, the blood on my mouth and everything. The hair was all fucked up. My eyes were all dark. I mean, dude, this was a pretty elaborate costume. I think that I could have been in that movie and you wouldn't have noticed. I really went all
Nice.
out for this one. You know, that's definitely the furthest I've ever gone. If I can find the picture of it somewhere, guys, I'll cut this into the video so you guys can see it. It was taken with a crappy camera phone, so I don't know how good it is, but that would be the one I'm most proud of, in my opinion. But what about you?
Well, my favorite that I went as, and I'm say that other guy that just goes out and buys his own costume, but I
You
went as
dick.
um the Cobra Kai, John Kreese or whatever, the guy that um
You went
was
as
over
Sensei
Cobra
Kreese?
Kai. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
had like
god.
an exact replica of the Cobra Kai um martial arts,
Hmm.
oh shit, what do they call them? The gi.
Yeah.
I had the gi, and I mean it was badass. I had like all the patches, like the one in the
Nice.
movie did. So that was my favorite that I went as. And then I have a funny story from childhood.
Okay.
This was back in like the craze of Ninja Turtles,
Oh boy.
and of course I wanted to go as my favorite Ninja Turtle, Leonardo,
Hmm.
and I had dreams of you know getting my Ninja Turtle costume, having like some swords, and going door to door getting my candy. And of course, Halloween gets there, and we couldn't find a Ninja Turtle costume anywhere because we waited the last minute to get it. My
Hmm.
mom did, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We have some costumes at the house." And I was like, "Okay." And so, she goes to the closet and starts digging around. She finds some stuff. And I start getting dressed. I'm like, what is this I'm wearing? And she gets her lipstick out and starts, putting it around my mouth.
What
Gives
the
me kind of
fuck?
like this. I'm like, what the hell is she doing? And yep, instead of being, Leonardo, cool Ninja Turtle, I was Raggedy Andy.
Oh my god.
And I just had to
That's
go
not funny.
everywhere.
That's sad.
It was. It's almost like punishment. It's like, what, mom? What did I do wrong?
It's,
And I've always like kind of held that over my mom and dad's head. Like, you know, um, y'all really punished me that year by making me go out in front of my friends. And I
oh
remember one of
shit.
my best friends, um, Monk. He was went up to his house and he was coming out of his house and he was like wearing the exact costume I wanted to wear, uh,
Oh.
wearing Ninja Turtle costume, and I'm walking up Raggedy Andy, and I was just this shame,
Oh,
that was
dude.
over me walking up
You're
to his
breaking my
house.
heart here, man.
I know it was sad, but my mom tried to make it better, and I think like 7 or 8 years ago, she for my birthday one year, she actually went out and got me a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle costume. And she's like,
Nice.
"Look, you finally got that costume you wanted, so you can quit holding it over our head," as like a gag gift." So I thought that was pretty funny back in the
Nice.
day.
That's
But
wow,
yeah,
that's horrible.
that is. I mean, it just scarred me for life.
Dude, one of the most creative costumes that I think I remember seeing when I was a kid, this kid I was in school with went as MC Hammer. And
What?
dude, he had the pants, the glasses, and
That's
everything.
parachute pants, huh?
He fucking looked like miniature MC Hammer. Like
Nice.
this is one of the most accurate costumes I've ever seen. It's like almost like he's been waiting for his moment. You know, this is my time. You know, fucking hip time. You know, like this is when like can't touch this. Like you couldn't touch a radio without fucking hearing that song. Oh God, what were we thinking?
What were we thinking back in the '90s with the parachute pants?
Well,
Those were
te
horrible.
technically the late '80s, but yes,
Yeah,
like '89, maybe '90ish. But yeah, it's just like the big. I mean, I don't think we can even call them
the
parachute pants anymore.
too legit to
I think
quit
we have to call them
video. Do
we
you
have to
remember
call
that?
them hammer pants. I think that he, as far as pop culture history, I think he basically owns it.
Now, was was he on the original Ninja Turtle movie?
No,
Did he do a song on it?
that
Maybe
was
not. Okay.
Partners in Crime.
No, no, not the original theme. I'm just on the entire soundtrack.
He might
Was
have.
he on there
Oh,
somewhere?
yes, he was. This is what we do. There's a
Yeah,
song in
that's
there.
that's
Yes.
right. That's right. And because that's what they were playing like when they first went into the foot soldiers or
Yes.
the Foots compound, and I want to say some of the kids were wearing parachute pants,
Oh,
and
fuck
then
yeah.
didn't that movie come out in '89 or
It
was it
did.
'9?
89.
Okay, all right,
Fucking kids like smoking cigars. And dude, they would never get away with that movie these days. That would
dude,
never happen today.
that movie is so badass to this day.
It's dark as fuck, dude. Like
It
for
is.
a
I mean,
kids PG movie, that's dark.
I mean, and all the cussing that the turtles do in
Yeah.
that and stuff, and I mean, it's just it really is an anomaly that that movie was able to come out, and it really kind of captured the darkness of the comic books,
Absolutely.
of the '80s, because they were like really dark too.
They got it right the first time with that one, man. Nothing really since has, in my opinion, even come close to
But
that first movie.
the collector's edition Blu-ray set is badass, even though it includes two and three, and two and three couldn't compare to the first one.
Mm-mm.
Um, the collector set, I don't know if it's even available now, but it comes in a cardboard pizza box. The Blu-ray set
Right.
does, and every disc looks like a different pizza,
Right.
and it comes with like maybe like postcards and like still frame shots, and it comes with a Ninja Turtle beanie. And I
Nice.
think I got that all from Amazon. Oh, and it comes with the animated movie too
Oh,
that
TNT.
came out. Yeah,
That was actually pretty good. I didn't mind
yeah,
that so much. That
yeah,
was
it
not bad.
was. And it was all for like $20 at one time. I got it like on the Amazon deal of the day. It was that several times for like $20. But
Nice.
that's a great collector set for Ninja Turtles.
Are
You
you
you never
even
saw?
gonna see the next one?
No, probably not. I watched the last one, but I mean, it just was nothing special. It's
I hated it.
I definitely can wait for it to come out on, video or something
Oh
to
yeah, I'm not
watch
gonna
it.
go see it in the theater. There's no way I'm
Yeah,
giving them my money. I'll wait for like Netflix or maybe VOD or something. But
but Michael Bay has just been like running stuff left and right.
hmm yeah.
Transformers. Although I loved the first
Oh,
Transformers,
of course. The first Transformers was great.
when it first came out, like, it was cool. It wasn't, you know, to the original plot or of Transformers, but it was still really cool. Shia LaBeouf was hilarious in it,
Yeah.
but it seems like they've always got to like take it over the top,
hmm
beat and the last one I tried to watch was the Mark Wahlberg one, and it was horrible.
You want to hear
I
my
mean,
impression of that movie? It's only one sentence.
oh yeah, do the Mark Wahlberg for us.
Okay. We found a transformer. What? No. There's Mike Wahlberg's career right there.
No.
What? No.
But yeah, I
That's
mean
the whole
that
movie right there.
it was horrible. Most of those
Rough.
Transformers movies are, except for the first one.
I
But
like the
wow,
first one. I thought the first one was good, but okay. So there is one saving grace that has me mildly interested in the second Ninja Turtles movie.
all right.
Bebop and Rocksteady are actually going to be in it.
Oh wow,
So this is like the first time we're ever going to get to see them on the big screen.
and
If they don't fuck
CG,
it up.
all their CGI glory.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they fucked up Shredder and the Ninja Turtles and Splinter, so it's like, why would I think they're gonna get this right? But, and there is the one other thing. They've somewhat perfectly cast the role of Casey Jones, and that would be Stephen Amell, the guy who plays Green Arrow on television, is Casey Jones, and
Mm-mm.
he's basically that already. Just like put a hockey mask on him and put a hockey bag behind him, and he's basically Casey Jones.
The
So
Casey Jones from the original movie, and that guy is such a prolific actor now. I mean,
oh no,
like I
I
think
agree with that.
what's that guy's name? Because he's been in a ton of great movies.
Elias
I,
Koteas.
Okay, is that where he got his start? Was from that movie?
More or less, yeah. No,
Okay,
he was great because like no, I'm not saying like Stephen Amell's gonna upstage him or anything. I'm just saying like given the fucking train wreck that this movie is gonna be, maybe the Stephen Amell parts might not be
might
so
save it.
bad. Like not so far as like save the movie, but maybe that'll be like the part of it that's not so shitty. You know, I guess
Yeah,
we'll see, but no, it's this is always the part that's annoyed me is that they always miscast Casey Jones at least to a small degree. But with the first movie, they got it pretty close to right. In the comic books, Casey Jones is Latino. He's not white. A lot of people think, oh, he's got a name like Casey Jones. He must be white. No, dude, the dude's a fucking Latin. He's a bouncer for this club called Torchies, and it's he like has like things that he says, when he's like beating the shit out of the Foot Clan, he's like basically spouting like Spanish, when he's like whacking the shit out of these guys with baseball bats and crap. Everyone seems to forget that like, I mean, I guess by the name, obviously Casey Jones isn't his real name. That's like his crime fighter name, but that's but to be fair, the first casting with Ilias Koteas, as far as what he looked like in the comics, they got it pretty close. He very
yeah.
closely resembled the comic books character. I mean, in the movie, he had longer hair. In the comic book, it was more like kind of like a spike mullet. Like he had like the macho spikes on top, and it went like all the way back down his head, like typical '80s haircut. So I guess they updated it to give him not a mullet. So I can't really, criticize him too harshly for that. But, dude, first movie, they're never gonna top it. I mean, I don't give a fuck what they can do with CG these days. I want guys in rubber suits. It looks better. It
Yeah,
really does. Like I'm not saying
it
that to
really
be a
it does.
purist. It looks better. It's just
And they were
we
able
know
to
that the
do,
CG is fake. You're not
and we were able
fooling
to
us.
do the moves in the prosthetic suits
Yeah. So
with
it's
animatronics. I mean, it looked fairly.
I
I
thought it
mean,
looked fantastic.
yeah, I thought it was great. Jim Henson Studios, I think, did that. So
I
the
think
creature shot.
we're going to start seeing a resurgence of that. I don't know when, but I think in the very near future where CG is going to kind of reach its crescendo and people are going to be so burnt out on it
I think it
that
already has. Have you
you really
seen
think
the
so?
past few? Well, all the expendable movies, I think, have had CGI blood.
Oh,
It,
that's so annoying.
and it's horrible. I mean, it
I
it
hate that.
looks fake. It look like when you shoot at somebody and it's just like CGI bullets. I mean,
Yeah.
you can tell that. I mean, how much does it cost to do the effects of blood coming out of the shirt? It can't cost that much.
One pyrotechnist guy, one makeup artist, one day of work.
Yeah,
That
and
can't cost that much money.
that really annoys me with the Expendables movies.
No, I agree, dude. I like doing it old school, man. I like them I like guys like George Miller and Guillermo del Toro where they get out there and they do it for real, man. Like they use CG basically as an afterthought. It's to enhance things, not replace things. Which
Yeah,
I mean, dude, let's be realistic here. For a movie like Jurassic Park or something like that, yes, the
you
dinosaurs
have
are going to be
to.
primarily CG. But in the first movie, like we'll say roughly 50% of that was Stan Winston and animatronics, and you know what? It still looks good. Like to
Right.
this day, it still doesn't look like shit. It still looks believable. When
Hmm.
they got up close to the T-Rex and crap, yeah, I mean it still fucking works. So it's this CG has become a bit too much of a wash. It's become too much of the focus of movies. And dude, granted, they can do some amazing shit with CG these days, like the new Ron Howard movie, The Heart of the Ocean, or The Heart of the Sea, or whatever it's called, where it's basically the real story that inspired Moby Dick. So it's about whale hunting, in the 19th century. The stuff I've seen, and from what I understand, all the stuff in that movie is CG. And when they show the close-ups of like the whale coming close to the boat, that I got to admit, I was pretty impressed. I was amazed when I found out that that wasn't at least somewhat prosthetic. It's pure CG. It looks so fucking real when the
It's
thing was
already
going
came
close to the
out.
boat. I don't think it has yet.
That's got Liam Hemsworth in it, doesn't it?
Yes, I don't
Okay.
think it's out yet. I think
Yeah,
it's
I saw
soon.
the preview for that. That looks great.
I was like, that was pretty impressive when they showed the Moby Dick stuff. I mean, sure, when it comes out of the water is a little bit of a stretch, but like the close up when he's like just under the surface of the water and he's nudging the boat, I was like, holy crap. Yeah, I mean, again, we're not taking away from CG here, guys. We understand that in some situations, yeah, it's necessary. When you're dealing with superhero movies and things like that, yeah, I mean, to realize things like that on screen, Marvel and DC and shit like that, buildings falling down and crap, obviously we can't do that for real. So, yeah, I mean, that's okay if that's one tool in the director's toolkit, not if it's like the main tool. There
All
needs to
right.
be, especially for horror movies and action movies, guys, give some prosthetic guys from work. And it seems like The Walking Dead is one of the few things in pop culture that's keeping it alive because almost everything on that show they do for real. They just do CG to enhance things, like maybe an occasional thing when like a head flies off or something, or show a head removed from a body, they'll use CG to enhance it. But when you see the guts and things coming out, that's all real. Like it's uh, what's his name? Greg Nicotero and Howard Berger out there doing their thing and showing why they're the two best guys in the business doing this shit. The two probably greatest makeup artists in history. And it's like I mean, they've said themselves that it's a dying art. I mean, they have a school that they run to teach people to do this, and they just notice that this is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and more guys are going over and doing CG work because that's where the money is.
Yeah,
And brother, that's sad to me, man. That's like
it is.
that's what I define as a real horror movie, is like, the in your face blood and guts type stuff. I mean, let's face it, if they made Jaws today, if it had never existed, there's no fucking way they'd do a prosthetic shark. It'd be all CG.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be as scary.
No, not
It
at
wouldn't
all.
be. I mean, it's like Jaws is the greatest even though this movie scares the bejesus out of me, it's the greatest example of why understated is more scary. And on top of that, everything that's understated in that movie is because of economic problems. Because the fucking shark didn't work for half of the shooting. That's why you don't see it until almost the end of the movie. But you know what? It worked. That made it scarier. What you don't see became more scary than what you do. And when you do see it, it's fucking terrifying, man. You're just like, oh my God. So, dude, I mean, we've had a little bit of a miniature renaissance lately with some new young bucks coming out, thinking outside the box, like the guy who did It Follows. I'm sure that guy has a very bright future in the world of cinema. Guys who are really willing to think outside the box and do something original. There's no CG in that movie or anything. I mean, it's all done for real on like a freaking shoestring budget, and it's really scary. Then you have things like Crimson Peak, which obviously Guillermo del Toro's got a little bit bigger of a budget, but it looks like the majority of what he did was spend money on sets. Like it almost like the Hammer films and like the stuff they made in the 70s where they had these big Victorian kind of sprawling mansions and shit like that, these gigantic sets. I love that kind of shit, dude. Like when they just go out there and they build the thing for real. So when you get the camera in there and you start filming, it feels like you're really there.
Have
I
you
love
watched that
that.
yet?
No, but I've heard it's really good.
I want to go see that. It looks really. I'm a big fan of Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, dude.
He's a great actor. I'm really really looking forward to seeing that. And of course we're big fans of Guillermo del Toro,
Oh,
so
absolutely.
um, I think that's gonna be really good. We were talking about Transformers a while ago.
Yeah.
Did you by any chance have a chance to pick up Devastation yet?
No, but everyone I know that has it
Okay.
says it's awesome. It's like
It is,
playing the
guys.
TV show.
It is playing the 80s cartoon in the simplest definition of how I can explain it. It's incredible. I was telling Jimbo, like in the first 10 minutes, you're fighting Devastator.
Awesome.
And I mean, you go through playing, several different Autobots through the game. I'm maybe an hour in. I don't think it's very long, but um, I want to say it's like 6 hours or so, but it does have some replayability, like going back in harder difficulties and stuff, and unlocking the extras. But they have the same voice actors from the cartoons.
Wow.
It's really awesome. So for those of you who are a fan of Transformers, the cartoon from the 80s, Gen 1 stuff, this is right up your alley in your wheelhouse. You will love this. And it's on PS4, Xbox One. I don't know what else. Maybe that's it. But a really, really good. game. So definitely check that out.
Now, if only they do the same thing for He-Man, then everything would be right in the world.
Yeah, maybe they will. Seeing some of the success this game has had, because everybody that's played it has loved it, and I think it got some really good reviews. So it's about the same people who did the first Bayonetta, I believe.
Okay, that's cool.
So it has a really good like combo system and stuff, and you're like, transforming into your vehicle to do like combo finishers and stuff. So really neat.
Nice.
The Sometimes the camera angles are kind of wonky, like if you're driving, but nothing that will turn you off playing the entire game. It's just maybe for a second or two, it's kind of wonky. But
Awesome.
well, did you have anything else that you wanted to cover before we go to the listener questions for the week?
No, but I did want to point out my shirt since we were talking about The Walking Dead earlier. Not sure if you guys can see this. That's Daryl Dixon on my shirt. It
Nice.
says the good, the
The
bad,
good of the
and the
dead.
dead. Where it's where that, I think it was season 3 where he's wearing the poncho for a little bit and almost looks like kind of a Clint Eastwood type of thing. So I saw that for sale and I was like, I've got to have that, But I've
Nice.
got another Walking Dead shirt coming. God, I really want to tell you about this, but I almost don't want to spoil it.
Dude, don't
Because
spoil the surprise.
it's such a badass shirt, dude. Like I saw this and I was like, buy. I just had to own it. But that should be here. Maybe I'll wear it on the next podcast. But um
I'm kind of
the
excited to see this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
cut you
that's
off.
fine.
I'm
That's fine.
excited to see this new Star Wars trailer.
Yeah,
That
isn't it out tomorrow, right? Or is it
Well, it
tonight?
comes out actually tonight during the football game, and I was thinking we're actually recording this on a Monday night, and I was hoping that it had
Shouldn't it be out
already.
now? Yeah,
Let's
it's up.
see, we can
Dude, you
watch.
you want to do a
You
trailer
want
reaction
to
here?
watch? Yeah, let's watch it together.
All right.
All right, hold on. Let me see what the.
I'm bringing it up now. I'll pause it at 0 seconds.
Where did you find it at?
Just YouTube it.
Okay, Star Wars: The Force Awakens trailer.
It's already
It's
got
pulling up.
200,000 views.
Uh,
I wish my videos did that. That'd be great.
Force
Oh,
Awakens official sneak peek number 3. Is that
just
what you?
the Force Awakens trailer official.
Okay.
Let me reload it. It's having trouble loading. Oh my god, are we crashing? It might be overloading YouTube. Let me close that. Let me try this. Dude, I'm having trouble getting it. Let me try another YouTube video.
60 minutes ago. Okay.
Let me see if another video loads.
I got it paused.
Okay, yeah, it's not me. Let me see if this plays. Okay,
Yeah, mine's playing.
okay. Let me kick it up to HD, because that's the only way to watch Star Wars. Okay, I'm paused on 3 seconds.
All right. Hold on. Let me. One,
Man, you guys
two,
are getting this shit
three.
legit right here.
All right. Here we go.
Too legit to quit. All right, you ready? I'll count down
Count it down.
from 3. When I say go. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. That's cool. kind of had a different feel to it, didn't it?
Tickets now available. Well, we can buy them like two fucking months in advance.
I was talking to my buddies today, and I was like, I mean, I don't even know what the hell I'm gonna be doing 2 months from now. Like,
I know what I'm gonna be doing, seeing fucking Star Wars.
wow, that looked really good, you know?
It's
I mean, it
why
has a different feel to it, doesn't it?
why dude, there's gotta be something really different about Luke Skywalker. Because he's not on the poster, and there's all these conspiracy theories flying around that like his visions, like maybe he's got a scar over his eye or something like that, or an eye patch, or half his face is robotic or something like that. He was not in that trailer at all, and the
Yeah.
movie comes out in 2 months. Like I mean, you saw the thing. We think that's his hand touching R2D2 because he's got the robotic hand, but why
Right.
is Luke Skywalker? I mean, we know he's in the fucking movie. That's not a revelation. His name's in the damn credits, but what the dude? Like, I
I
want to
don't
see
know,
Luke
man, but I'm
Skywalker, man.
intrigued.
Come on.
I'm intrigued. That was, when you get a goosebumps watching a trailer, that's normally a
It is, dude.
good thing.
I'm gonna tell you a theory that I have about Star Wars, and this is much debated in the household de Jimbo, with my other family members. Okay, so after seeing the prequels, so that kind of left us to the device that Anakin Skywalker was the chosen one. You know, the guy prophesized to bring balance to the Force. I don't think
Right.
that that's true. I think that Obi-Wan and Yoda and the rest of the Jedi Council thought that he was. But I think that Luke is the true chosen one because he single-handedly destroyed the Sith. He beat Vader and he defeated the Emperor. They were the last two Sith. So at the end of Revenge of the Sith, you know, when Obi-Wan and Anakin are fighting, like, you know, Obi-Wan is like, you know, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. And that just got me thinking. I'm like, well, Luke did that. And he didn't he was everything that Anakin was, but better, because when he was faced with going to the dark side at the end, he didn't bow, he didn't relent. He threw in his lightsaber and said, "No. I'm not giving into this." You know, he was stronger
Right.
than that. So I think that Luke was the true chosen one, dude. Like he's the guy who was really going to establish balance with the Force by striking down evil. That's just my 2 cents. You know, if you see this in the movie, guys, hey, you heard it here first. You know, that's my fucking theory. But yeah, that's my Star Wars geek for the day, dude. That's all I got. But that was an awesome
Okay.
trailer. But I want to see more Luke Skywalker. Lucasfilm, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
me
Show
too.
me, dude. Show me him whipping out his lightsaber. Come on, give me something. I want to see him beat the shit out of a Sith, dude. Come on, we've been waiting for this. Ugh. So, and please don't kill Luke in the movie. That's so contrived. Don't turn him into Obi-Wan where he dies in the first movie. That's stupid. Come on, we've done that already. Turn him into Yoda. You know, where you at least get 2 movies out of him. Kill him in the second movie.
Right.
You know, don't kill him, period. Who am I kidding? Good must win. Jedi, all the way. Well, what
All
do we
right,
got
you
as
ready
far as
for?
listener questions? Do we got anything interesting?
I've got two.
Let's go.
From the first one is from Jeff Harbison, and he wants to know what would be our three top, or he does it our top three weapons to kill zombies with.
Well, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first because I have to think about mine.
All right. I think if I had to choose three, I'm gonna have to borrow two from um, The Walking Dead,
Of course.
and I would just strictly for utility, I would have to use Daryl's crossbow because it's reusable. Once you find the bolt, it's accurate. You can aim it basically like you would a gun, so you wouldn't have to worry about like losing arrows like you would with a traditional bow and arrow.
Hmm.
So I would choose a crossbow as my number three. Number two Let me have a big old revolver like Rick has. Just the power, it's dependable. Revolvers, you pretty much just have to point, pull the trigger. Um, with his, I think you have to pull the hammer back on that one. But if you have like a little 38 special, all you have to do is point and shoot. You don't have the problems of it jamming like you would a normal pistol. So that's one of the benefits of a revolver. And third weapon, I'm going to go to a different universe, and I'm going to use Connor McLeod's sword from Highlander.
Okay.
That he got from Ramirez because supposedly it was had been folded like 1,000 times. It's basically unbreakable, and that's about the most badass katana I can think of that I would use, and that could be your ultimate weapon because you don't have to. It's got the reach, and it'll never run out of bullets or anything. So
That's a good
I mean,
point.
you see how Michonne uses hers.
Let's see. Well, honestly, man, I think I'm gonna have to go with raw simplicity on this one.
All right.
Just because you want something that's you're definitely not gonna have to worry about breaking down. So I'm gonna go with some tried and true and tested remedies here.
All
My
right.
first, I'm gonna go with a modern tomahawk for several reasons, like something from Cold Steel. One, it's a tool, which is always good. You need tools. Theirs in particular, it's got like your typical tomahawk blade on the other side. Then on the top of it and on the side of it, it has like a hammer spike.
Yeah.
So if you just want to go like, like inside the brain, lights out kind of thing, quick, easy, it's light. You can wield it with one hand. It's dirt simple. And again, it's a tool, firewood and stuff. So yeah, and I
And
think
you can use it as a projectile too.
you
So
can. And I think on the other side, there's a crowbar handle. So you can like pop a door
it
with. I
just
mean,
depends on what kind you buy. But yeah, there's
exactly.
some that have that.
So that's like a Swiss Army knife kind of tool to me, dude. So you got a lot of bang for your buck there. My second choice would be, dude, I'm gonna go with a freaking. I think I'm gonna go with a fucking lever action rifle. Because I mean,
Alright.
think of how
Like that.
long those things were in production, over a century. For until the AR-15 came out, it was the world's most popular deer hunting rifle for over 100 years. That says something, dude. Like it wouldn't have been that successful if it didn't work.
I
And
can say a
they're
little
simple.
lever action like 30-30
Yeah,
Winchester
yeah,
30.
yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
maybe like just for simplicity's sake, maybe I'll get something in a simpler caliber, like they make them in 357 Magnum, which you could probably find a little bit easier since it's also a handgun round. Which will also fire 38s. Little versatility in there. I think might be wise. 30-30 might be a little bit tough to come by in the zombie apocalypse because they don't make as many of those as they used to. And my third and final weapon, I think I'm gonna have to pull one out of Rick here, dude. Like with my tomahawk on one side, just fucking machete. Just like a big ass sharp machete. Like I think, yeah. No, no, wait. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of Rick here. I'm gonna run with it. A fucking Bowie knife, like an
Alright, I
old
like that.
school Texas toothpick Bowie knife, like something literally one swing, Walker head comes flying off.
I like
You,
that
you
one.
can't go wrong with the classic, dude. The original man's knife.
And use the classic Ruger 1022.
Of course.
Um, I mean, you can buy a brick of those for next to nothing, and they hold a ton of rounds. You don't have to have a high caliber to kill the zombie, just something to
No,
go through the head.
as long as you penetrate the
And
brain, it's game over.
yeah, so I think that'd be a good one too. All right, the next question I have here is from. Let me see. I'm have to pull it up again. Um, I don't want to get the our listener's name wrong.
I have one from our friend Aaron Ionato.
All right.
This was put on Facebook. Okay, here's one for you guys. With it being Halloween season, what horror movie would you like to see made into a game? Bro, that's already happening. That'd be Friday the 13th. That would honestly be my answer. If that
Yeah,
if that
I think
wasn't
that.
already in play, that's That honestly would be my answer. So
Because, a lot of horror movies, I don't think that they could just do justice with a game, and the makeup of it. And I think that's a perfect one. So that'll be my answer too. All right. And do you have any more? If not, this will be the last.
that's all I got,
listener.
bro.
All right. Matt Webb wants to know, what do you think about Daniel Craig's interview where he said he doesn't want to be Bond anymore? Furthermore, who would you want to see as the next Bond? And please don't say Idris Elba. Which, personally, I know Matt doesn't want to say that. I don't have a problem with Idris. I think he'd make a pretty cool Bond. But I already have like an idea, and I think probably Jimbo would say the same person, but we're big fans of Michael Fassbender. I think he would be. Is that who you're going to say? All right. We're both fans of this. I mean, we're have this mental connection with him, and dude's awesome in everything I've seen him in. So I think he'd be perfect Bond. I think he fits that mold very well. In that interview, he didn't really say he didn't want to be Bond anymore. He just said that he was burnt out on it because that's all he's been doing here lately. He needed to do something different for a while.
Sure.
And I don't think he was talking about just in general the entire franchise. I think he just meant right at that moment. I think that was kind of taken out of context.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Daniel Craig's been one of my favorite Bonds, if not my favorite so far.
Dude, they're going to throw him a pile of money because that this movie is going to make a shit ton of money, and they'll throw him a stack of cash, dude. If that's the problem, they can rectify that with the whiff of a fucking pen. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Plus, he's contractually obligated for one more. So
well, guys, thank you so much for the questions.
Yes, they were good questions.
Definitely leave us some more on the Facebook page. Don't forget to like it. And that's the Facebook page, of course, called the Nerd Bucket Podcast. So
absolutely.
You can leave your questions on, just leave a comment on the channel and or under this episode's listing that I put up there. I'll put a post with this episode, so just leave it down below.
Faux show.
But it's been fun, Jimmo. I had a good time this week.
Can I do one very quick shameless plug that will only take a second?
Sure.
It might even be after the fact because I don't know when this episode's going to go up. So just in case it is after the fact.
Wednesday.
So just in case you're listening to this afterwards, if you haven't already checked it out, guys, as far as I know, we're going to be making YouTube history on Retro Game Lounge come this Wednesday, which is the 21st. We are going to be doing a live stream live on the air of Sega CD 32X version, not that fucking shitty Sega CD version of Night Trap. Now, we're going with the 15% upgraded visuals, Tyler, because that's how we do things here in the lounge.
Whoa.
No, 15%. Whoa. Wow. Yeah, we're taking it to the next level.
I'm the JVC guy. Was it JVC?
Oh, it was no, it was Max L tapes. Is that what it was?
Maybe that's what it was. Where the guys like,
yeah, guys like getting blown back in the chair. Yeah, Retro Game Lounge, dude. We're gonna take you to the next level. That's how we're gonna do things here. So we're gonna be live streaming the freaking Cold Class. It's almost like I'm combining two of my shows, like Dirt Flicks and Retro Game Lounge, since Night Trap kind of is a dirt flick in and of itself, and we're kind of doing that in the vein of a video game. For the record, I have not played more than about 10 or 15 minutes of this game my entire life. I don't know any of the traps or any of the codes. I may do a little teeny weeny bit of homework just so I know what I'm getting into beforehand, but everything you see, guys, the fuck-ups that we're going to be running into, it's all going to be legit. We're doing it live. You guys can participate. We'll have the chat going. If any of you guys have any tips or anything, like dude, push the purple, great. Come along and help us out, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. Tommy the Icy One's going to be joining me here on the retro couch, or the porn couch, as some of you guys talk about it. I take that as a compliment. It does kind of look like a porn couch, doesn't it? That's why I put it in here.
Done any casting calls there, Liz?
Dude, that's how I get the fucking ladies in here, man. You know what I'm saying? Aloha. So, yeah, man. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, it will be recorded to YouTube via DVR, so if you get there late, you can always rewind to the beginning, and it will stay up. Unlike some other guys who stream on YouTube, I don't take mine down. They are up. I leave them up because I understand not everybody's running on my schedule here. So if you want to watch them after the fact, I do a lot of live streaming, guys. I've done, I think, 6 in the last week. I was on kind of a TurboGrafx kick this weekend. So please come and join us, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've been looking forward to this. No one has ever done this before. So not live, at least. And not on Sega CD32X. They might have done that 3DO shit or Sega CD, but no. We're not emulating. All right, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to prove this shit. Watch this shit. We're doing this shit. We're doing this shit legitimate. For those of you listening who can't see it, you know what that is on my floor, Tyler? We got the freaking...
That is the monstrosity.
That is the beast.
Right there.
That is the beast.
32X.
Sega CD.
Sega Genesis.
32X.
Sega CD. All hooked up.
All
three power supplies.
All three power supplies. And I'll level with you guys. When I first tested this, really quick funny story. I first hooked this thing up because I've only, I think, hooked this system up maybe twice before, like the whole thing. I hooked it up to test it one day, and that was a Monday. Fired right up, no problems. I shit you not. 5 days later, I was going to hook it up just to test it again. Nothing. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like 5 days ago it was working. I'm like, okay, but at the end of the day, it's a 30-year-old console. Like that's never going to change. Electronics break down. So I took the thing in to East Starland to get them like, guys, I need this fucking fixed like pronto. You know, I went straight to the basically the store owner and I was like, guys, I need this turnaround like quickly, please. And it turns out it was just my damn power supply.
What?
I didn't have another one to test it, but it takes the Generation 1 power supply. So if you've got a Gen 1 Genesis, same power supply. So Tom of the Ice and One, thank you. He was kind enough to hook me up with a power supply since he's a bit of a hoarder on those. So it's up and running, man. I had to get a special adapter to be able to do this through XSplit because you cannot run composite. So I had to get a special, actually pretty high grade, composite to HDMI adapter. None of that freaking $15 crap that you saw last time. No. I actually got a pretty nice one. And it works. I have tested it. Obviously, I've been streaming TurboGrafx. No emulators here, guys. No. I do this shit legit on consoles. Because I'm too legit to quit. That's how we do shit here. So every time you ever see me do a game, you will never see me on an emulator. No. It's only going to be a game I own, and I'm going to do it for real on the console. Period. None of that half-ass crap. So... Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live, right there. I know you listeners can't see this, but I'm pointing to the porn couch right there, here in the Retro Game Lounge. We're going to be doing it, man. I hope to see you guys there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you show up, too. Or you at least watch it after the fact, Tyler. Yes, I'm pointing at you.
I'll probably watch it after the fact.
Okay, as long as you watch it.
Night.
As long as you watch it.
Yeah, I think I would watch it, but I'm working that night, so I'll watch it later on, because... Okay. Night Trap's just so bad it's good.
Have you ever finished it?
No, I've not.
Have you ever gotten anywhere far into it?
Not far into it. Just played, those full motion video games. You've got to be dedicated to.
It's a lot of trial and error. Like as I understand it, you got to listen to what the girls are saying. Like they give you kind of clues as to what camera you should be looking at when. Like they'll say a color or something like that, and you got to tune into that particular camera and be ready to do the trap. I'm sure we're going to get it wrong like 200 times. I mean, it's all memorization at the end of the day. It's like playing Dragon's Lair. You can't be good the first time.
Right.
So we'll see, man. It's either going to be like epic or it's going to be a train wreck, but either way, it's going to be entertaining.
Right. Well, yeah, man, that'll be fun.
I think so.
Guys, Jimbo is going to be on vacation next week and possibly the week after that, but we'll see if we can't maybe the second week try and work around the schedule some.
We will try.
If not, we'll be back in 2 weeks. So
absolutely.
Jimbo's got to have his vacay too. So.
Dude, this is the first real vacation that I've had in like 6 years. So yeah. I think I've earned it. Just
we'll enjoy it, man.
Off. I'm gonna try.
Just some R&R.
Oh, dude, R&R that's my only goal. Is to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like no Facebook, no YouTube, maybe just little YouTube, but I just want to relax. I need to unplug for a little while, like fucking Neo. Need to unplug, man. Well, Tyler, it's been awesome, man. It's good to slip back into this old, comfortable pair of shoes, man. Dive back into the bucket with a couple of brewskis, man. Our big orange hot tubby bucket thing. Yes, homo. That's how it fucking works here. So
no homo.
But thank you guys. Sorry we missed you last week. Hopefully we've made up for it. Giving you kind of an XL-sized episode here. Little Halloween fix. hopefully this will tide you guys over till the next time you see/hear us. But as always, I am Jimbo from the Retro Game Lounge. That bearded wonder over there. I know you listeners can't see me, but I'm pointing to my right. That is Tyler from Metroids Primed. And if you are a listener, watch us on YouTube. And if you're a YouTuber, listen to us on iTunes. You can do it twice. It's better the second time around. You know it is. Well, Tyler, it's been fun. Adios, my man.
All right, my friend.
Good night. So why don't you get out of here
Later.
and go fuck yourself, huh?
All right, thanks.